Just waiting for notification on Facebook. All righty. Thank you. Okay, boom. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today for a special edition of Off the Record. We have some great and illustrious guests today with us. We have Professor Griff and his lovely wife, Soleil. I want to thank you both for coming on today.
Don't give thanks.
Yes, sir. I want to just give everyone a brief second so that they could come on in. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you for watching. Peace to you all as well. Thank you. Walaikum salam, Brother Robert Abdullah. Thank you all. Okay, we want to get straight into it. I want to also thank ABC I Love Me for her sponsorship this week. Politically Oppressed with his shirts. And my second book, which is a children's book called Cleopatra. You can get that on Amazon as well. Okay, the first question I want to ask you all is which one of you chose on the other one first? Who made the first move? Who initiated the first move?
I think it was a mutual thing. It was really a mutual thing. It wasn't. I think. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't either one of us pursuing the other. I think it was more of, is this person in sync on a spiritual level with the path that I'm on? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
More so than, oh, wow, she's fine, she's smart, she's intelligent, she's spiritual, I gotta have her in my life kind of thing. You understand what I'm saying? How long is this courting thing gonna last? How can we make this happen like right now? It wasn't that kind of party at all, because we've known each other for quite some time, since 1989.
30 years this year.
30 years this year, right?
Whoa.
So,
month or coming up in the first of July.
Right.
Right.
Excellent. Okay, sister, we'll start with you on this next one. What was it about Professor Griff that made you attracted to him?
Wow. Okay, so
should I leave the room on
no.
this? Oh.
Which time? Like when I first met him or when we reconnected?
When you reconnected, the reconnection.
Oh,
so it was I think the same thing that that attracted me to him when I first met him. But when I first met him, I was too young to be attracted to him. Was it 2007, 16 when we reconnected?
Yeah, it was 16.
Yeah, because we've been friends for a really long time, but we, throughout the years, we stayed in touch with each other. But the same things that I admired and respected and loved about him from the first time I met him. But to say those things without even prefacing that this was preordained. This was not something that we thought out to do. The first time I met him and I saw him, I instantly recognized him, but I didn't know why or what it was or how or what all that meant. I just knew the first time I saw him that I felt something in me that felt like I know this person. And then he instantly became my brother. And so I always loved and respected his respect for me, for women in general, his dedication to his work, his moral compass, his intelligence, his commitment to his work and to our people and to the assignment that he's been put here to fulfill. And so to watch him be a very disciplined man was always appealing to me, and it were rare qualities that you don't see often. Not that there aren't men that don't have those qualities, because I'm sure you do too, brother. But there are, they're rare qualities. And then, and I just always thought he was cute from the first time I saw
him. So. Okay, excellent. I want to say thank you. A piece of you, Brother Michael, as well. Walaikum salam, Naima, and your family. Walaikum salam to Tracy. Okay, brother Griff. What was it? How was your first date when you all reconnected? What was that like?
You don't even want to know that, bro. Other than eating Love Crunch, No, I think it was a beautiful thing because I actually felt something. She was continuing her path and doing the work that she's presently doing right now, but she was going away. So I said, look, when you get back, we're gonna actually have like a real kind of date, whatever that means.
Knowing each other.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
after 27 years.
But I think we need to let people know we were never interested in one another as far as being a couple then.
Right.
That's recent.
Except I did have a crush on you when I first met you, but he didn't have a crush on me.
Nah.
But that was like 30 years ago, and it was just a cute little innocent crush, and then we became brother and sister, and there was a real love. Like if any, we saw each other throughout the years and would check up on each other, and but anytime anyone mentioned his name, my response was like, I love him. That's my brother. It was a genuine love as a human. But so there was no like pursuing each other or any of that. It just
right.
Yeah.
So the idea of a first date, a lot of people would think, well, let me take you to dinner, let me take you to the movies, it was just let's kind of get together.
Well, we did go to dinner. Well,
yeah,
we
went to lunch, and then you ate dinner and another snack after that.
I like snacks, brother. I like
and
snacks.
she's still eating snacks.
I have food on the stove right now.
Right, exactly. So it wasn't your traditional first date, so that would be hard to kind of answer because it wasn't anything that anybody would truly be interested in other than us vibing with one another, trying to connect. And I think all the other things may have been a distraction if we did do those things. If we went to the movies to go see the latest, movie that was out, we could sit and discuss that and call that the first date, go to dinner, and that's kind of boring.
Excellent. Okay, thank you all. How was the proposal? How did you propose? What was that like?
I'm gonna let her answer that.
Okay, yes, ma'am. How did you propose?
Yeah, it's such a non-traditional connection because, like I always tell everyone, this really was not our doing. This really was, and we know probably several lifetimes of being divine consorts. This is not our first time around. This lifetime, but so there was no proposal. We literally we reconnected as friends. I hadn't spoken to him. I hadn't seen him in years or talked to him in years. We had reached out, here and there, and we would see each other in passing. But in 2016.
Wait, he was there when I saw you. He was on stage with me.
One of the times. Oh, at the
he was on stage with
an
me.
award show. I hadn't seen you since then. I don't think I'd seen, but we had spoken since.
Yeah, we had spoken,
but it wasn't.
It was when you was on stage with me. We at the BET or Soul Train.
Soul Train with
Ludacris and Raheem DeVaughn, right?
Yeah,
and we tore that up, and I saw her in the audience, and I'm like, oh, let me go speak. So yeah,
we have that picture,
right? Exactly.
That time, but as far as a proposal, there was no proposal. It was literally we reconnected in the summer of 2016 as friends. Went to lunch, talked for 3 hours, took pictures, posted them like, oh, my brother, I love my blah, blah, blah. And everybody saw something. Right. Everybody started commenting on how all this love they saw and all these things. So we were laughing at everybody's comments like, oh, this is so funny. Yeah. And then we met again. You came back and said, that's when we started talking just on the phone, just regularly, like every day we were on the phone, because that last time I saw you when you were in town after we went to lunch just as friends, we hugged each other goodbye, and it was kind of like, what was that? Like we didn't want to let go, and it was just so from the time that was about a month past that you came back and said we're going on an actual date. It was maybe about 3 weeks. We went on an actual date. And literally about a month from the day we went on that date, we just knew that this is what we were going to do. We didn't tell other people, but we knew that we were going to spend the rest of our lives in this lifetime together, and then other ones to come. Right. But so it was no proposal. It was like we just talked about. There was no official like get down on one knee. It was just
corny.
Okay.
He's been non-traditional.
I'm not knocking anyone that actually did that. I'm just saying that's just so
You can
not.
still do it if you want to.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Well, this one. Okay. 1 second. Okay. Peace. Thank you all for watching. Walaikum salam. Sister Angel says thank you all for sharing. Peace, family. Sister Robin says that. Says thank you, Mimi. The chemistry. Mimi says that chemistry was real. Thank you all. Thank you all for watching. To you, Professor Griff, what has been the biggest trial since you all been married, and how did you overcome that?
Oh wow. I mean, if I could just, with her permission, just speak frankly and open.
Look at my face.
She had a reading, and in the reading,
before we reconnected,
in the reading, the person doing the reading told her about the trial.
Before you and I even reconnected.
Before we reconnected. So I think when it happened, it was almost like I'm not really understanding it, but I'm a mature man and I can kind of roll with the punches. But when she told me that, I understood it a lot better, and it made it easier to get through the particular trial. And the trial was with her oldest daughter. And it was, not to go into detail, but it was just one of those really kind of out at dinner, kind of like, like straight up, I don't want you marrying my mom. I'm like, I'm at dinner now. And I'm like, where'd that come from, man? I'm like, being the person that I am, I have this tendency of just excusing myself. Let me create some distance. Let me go to the bathroom. Let me think about what just happened so I can know how to deal with it. Because I'm not the old Professor Griff anymore. So,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This woman will be the woman that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. I have to kind of handle this with kid gloves. And it wasn't until a few months ago.
No, it was a few months ago.
When was it?
It wasn't a few months ago. It's been a little longer than that.
Oh, a little longer than a few months ago that we just kind of.
They're now they're friends again because they.
I mean, because
she was the one that would come sit and talk and hang out.
Yeah,
But what really, honestly, what it was, I have 4 daughters, and we're really, really close and super close. And my oldest is like a big baby, and she's married, has her. She doesn't have children, but she's married, and for her, because we were all moving away to Atlanta, and she wasn't going to be able to come with us because she's married now. So you have to be here with your husband in the DC area. And so she's so close to me and so close to her sisters. We call ourselves the Davy tribe. And if we do everything together, we do vacations, it's like super duper duper close and clingy to me. And so she was really hurt that they're leaving me, like, even though she's a grown woman with a husband, like, oh, the tribe is leaving me. So instead of being mature, she was only in her 20s. And so she wasn't really at a space where she was able to express what really was going on. And so she decided to take it out on him and blame him for taking us away, even though it was actually my idea for us to even move back to Atlanta because we needed to get some work done here. So that's the gist of it. Not that she doesn't like him; she actually loves him, and they call and joke and talk.
Right.
But she took it out on him.
But the kind of person I am, even right now, she said, "Listen, I want to move there with y'all until we get our own place, whatever." Come on, I've always been in the house. I've always been in the house with. I got 13 people in my family, so I've always been that kind of. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that was the trial. It wasn't no knockdown, drag out, anything, but it was just a little kind of uncomfortable at certain times. But we just kind of needed to work with one another to see it through.
Excellent, and thank you for your transparency, sir. Now, Sister Sole, what has been your greatest trial, and how did you overcome that?
I would say, we're so in sync it's not, we don't have, there's
Right.
not a lot. We're really blessed and fortunate that there's not a lot in any major things that go on.
Right.
Probably the biggest trial, and even I'm speaking for you, but for both of us was just getting to, we're we're older, coming back into a relationship, and so we know each other and knew each other as friends, but then living with someone and then learning their ways is just the natural order of every relationship. So I wouldn't say even so much trial, because we haven't had any trials. It's just learning each other's ways. Okay, I'm super feminine, everything's flowy, and I like to be like this. It's just fine. Everything is just fine. I love it, just blasé. And he's like,
I'm total opposite. Like,
we're super masculine and everything. I'm gonna go wait in the car for you to come. So it was just finding a balance of, and it actually was again, because it's not I wouldn't call it a trial. I would call it
adjustment.
Yeah, and then just us balancing what should happen in a divine union. I brought the feminine to him, he brought the masculine to me. So areas where I needed to be more structured and more regimented and on time and all of those things, it helps bring that little bit of masculine energy into my own being so that I could, elevate and be better. And I helped him to flow a little bit and to not have to. He's still very regimented. I'm still very like this, but I have that. He helps me to find a balance, and I think I helped him to find a balance of not everything having to be so regimented all the time, and being able to find the flow, and me not always being in the flow. So. Yeah. But no trial, like no trials in that way. Just learning each other's ways, what each other's love languages are, how he likes to feel loved and appreciated, how he needs me to communicate to him, and how I need him to communicate with me. But those were just natural things that go on. The good thing is that we're both mature enough to learn how to and know how to express those things to each other without hell and screaming calling each other names.
Okay, excellent. And thank y'all for your transparency, and thank everyone for watching. My sister Naima says, what qualities did you find most attractive about each other that you didn't find in anyone else before?
I think I answered that one already.
Yeah, I think she answered that one already.
But
I think when growing and understanding everything beyond everything has to be my way. Everyone has to believe like I believe. Everyone has to move like I move. Way beyond all of those particular things, I think when I saw with my physical eyes and experienced my energy, my spirit rather, experienced this woman, I couldn't put that in words. It came later on in words when I heard this is a journey of the self through the self back to the self.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when I heard that instantly connected with my my mantra, my mission statement, which is I'm a soul in search of souls that are like minds like mine.
Yes, sir.
So someone with just as equal passion, someone with get up and go, someone that's on a path that I could assist, and that can assist me, and I can pull and learn something from that. Oh, that's a beautiful thing, and I haven't found that in anyone. I'm not going to answer that question with, oh, that woman called someone, so I dealt with her, but she wasn't this, she didn't do that, and that's just growth. That's part of my experience, and it's like, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
We all have we all should have this reset button in relationships, especially past relationships. A lot of us should throw away the old luggage. A lot of those things don't work. They don't fit. There was experiences then. You understand what I'm saying? And there's one thing that I can honestly say that I'm not going to use the term hate, but I really dislike. Don't put anything on me that I'm not deserving of that's negative. Don't tell me you're pulling that from a past relationship or you're doing this, that, and the other, because I wouldn't even be in this space with you if I was. That would be a hurdle for you to get over, for me to get over, or us to get over if I'm still dealing with that. I'm not dealing with that. The day I got this number 9 tattooed on my ring finger,
yes, sir.
I'm like, nah, that's done. You understand?
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay, so
though that I do interpretive dance for you, and
oh,
and
y'all don't even know. Can you imagine doing 50, 60 miles an hour? A song comes on and she's just dancing on the other side.
I like to dance out or act out everything for him. So usually in the morning, if I have something to tell him, I come like running through the room, like doing an interpretive dance.
Can you imagine, bro? You driving and Roger Troutman come on with a Computer Love, boom. and then you see a foot come. And I'm like, hold on, man. I'm trying to drive. Chill.
Okay.
I would say that's probably something that you haven't experienced in any other relationship.
No, I've never in my life, man. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Because I thought that's what you were gonna say. No, I'm just.
Nah, but yeah, okay. Anyway, yeah.
Free entertainment all day long.
Okay, excellent. What advice, Sister Sole, for you would you give to future mothers?
Oh wow, so much. Let me think. I would say to be more than you say, because we like to tell our children what to do and how to be without modeling that for them. And so I think it's important, which is why I embarked upon the path that I did when I left the music industry 20 years ago, because I literally had this spiritual awakening. Even though I always had a connection with spirit, I wasn't walking the path that I knew I was put here to do. And I literally heard a voice ask me, is this what you want your children to emulate? Is this what you want them to be? And it was no. Who I was being at that time was not. And so I endeavored to embark upon a path that I would want them to walk. And so even if they don't fully, or they still have a model, an example of how to be in the world, even though they have their own path too. And then also know and understand that they don't belong to us. They are entrusted to us and their path is different. I'm put here to be a guide for them, but I don't own and control them and tell them. I mean, when they're a certain age, yeah, I'm telling them what to do. Because it is, they're children and there are rules. But I think it's important to allow children to be who they are and not who we want them to be. And so for us to guide them in truth and in even what our truths are, in our ways of being, and show them something to model themselves after, but know and understand that they may take their own path, and that's okay. To love them through that, to still model and be who we are called to be, and stand in that fully and love them through everything, and to talk to them, to talk more, to be fully present. I was blessed enough to I have a really close relationship with my daughters. A lot of people recognize it and ask me, like, everywhere we go, like, because my children actually like to be around me. And I know some parents that they're like, their kids don't want to have nothing to do with them. Mine, I'm like, my 27-year-old comes and she's like, and she calls me like 5 times a day. And I'm like, and they like to be with me, and they like to, even the teenagers, they like to do things with me. And that's not because they don't have rules. That's not because they haven't gotten in trouble. That's not because I am their friend and just let them do whatever they want to do. That's never been the case. But I think it's just because I've been, I like to be still relatable to them, giving them rules and boundaries, but really truly genuinely loving and nourishing them, and trying to be love as much as possible to them. And sometimes that doesn't always look like hugs and kisses. That looks like setting some rules and boundaries as well.
Excellent. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And Professor Griff, I'm coming to your question right now. My sister Naima says, well said. My sister Mimi says, yes, beautiful. Thank you, Queen, for answering it like that. Miles Muhammad says, salute, brother. Okay, please extend my love and greetings to Big Brother Professor Griff Kavan Shah and the Queen, Tanya Johnson, Soldier, aka Shah. Thank you, Brother Miles. We will do that. Brother Griff, could you explain to us what advice would you give to future fathers?
Future fathers?
Yes, sir.
Not yet fathers. Let me get
Correct.
my head. Okay. Because they're already father of civilization, but that's a deeper subject.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Yes, sir.
I think future fathers, first of all, I think Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said we should be of that particular age, not physically, emotionally. We should be at that age where we can begin to father. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
whatever that entails on a mental, spiritual, economic level, and even on a physical level, as far as being able to provide and protect. And then I think future fathers need to know and understand this Western mindset that kind of ingrains and teaches us from the time that we're young, and even in the language that we use, my woman, my this, and even on the street hood terms, my B, my this, that, and the other. And the songs say it. And you understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
and even in certain religions, it's almost like, no, the man is the head of the household and this, that, and the other. That is an approach that I would ask the creator to kind of have that conversation with each potential future father, because that concept, that model, that just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. This house is ruled by a king and a queen, a god and a goddess.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's how the delicate balance of ma'at, truth, balance, justice, reciprocity, and order. This ain't no, I'm the king of the house. Make sure my food is on the table. Where's my slippers?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But his food does be on the table.
Hey, okay.
But you see, I'm
But
in
not because you're like
right. I'm in my role. You understand what I'm saying? And being in my role and mastering my role as the masculine energy, everything else kind of falls in place. You take your proper place in the context of the family, and a lot of things will happen automatically. You understand what I'm saying? And I just think that's real. And men that are looking to be in a marriage and not ultimately, but looking forward to being a dad, understand, man, we are in a situation right now. There's 10 children involved in this. And you're 4. Wait, so you're 4. My 5. BedX makes 10. Pumpkin. Who else?
And Miller.
And Miller.
Or 2 godchildren.
Right. So there's family, then there's family, and then we got the outer family, which is our support unit. We have elders that we can talk to. You understand what I'm saying? We have close friends that we can get on the phone with, not gossip, not all the other stuff, not beating one another down and tearing one another down, but we can get real advice. You understand what I'm saying? And with younger men coming into manhood, I think Francis Cress Welsing said men shouldn't have children until 38, 40.
Yes, sir. I saw that on YouTube.
And women at 30.
For women, yeah.
And then if it's more than one child, you got to spread them apart 2 to 3 years.
Yes, sir. I saw that on
to meet that emotional need. Right. So that's what I would impart. I'm putting this together in my workshop, A Warrior's Song, based on my book, A Warrior's Tapestry. And she advised that I do that because men need it. We need the healing circle for men.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
you understand what I'm saying? And I think before they become fathers, right? Yeah. Right. So that's very important. So I'm right in the middle of that right now. It's funny you should ask that.
Yes, sir. And thank you. And please, can you let us know, or let me know, and I'll make sure I let everybody know on my social media platforms when that is. Yes, sir. Okay, excellent. I want to say, my sister Miriam says, teacher on Mind. Charles LC says from Dallas, thank you, Charles LC, for checking in. Salute family. Nasir, thank you for checking in as well. Okay, Sister Soleil, we only have 3 more questions. Sister Soleil, what is your advice for future wives?
It's so much. Let's see. What can we? Okay, and so it would be.
Wait. Did I just answer that question?
No, you answered future fathers.
For future fathers, yeah, but not for future wives. Oh, because I need to just say, men wanting to be fathers and good husbands, we need to learn how to dance.
Okay.
Because when you asked her that, I thought priestess of the dance. I don't know why.
Okay.
But yeah, brothers, we got to dance, man.
Yes, sir. Well, I do musical stage plays, so I'm working on my.
You know what I'm talking about, then.
Yes, sir.
Yes, go on. Sorry, go on.
Yes, sir. Okay, yes, ma'am.
I would say that it's across the board. A part of what I teach in the workshops that I teach in general. So then it's not advice just for those seeking to become a wife or planning to, but I think it's probably the most valuable piece of advice that applies still there. And that is to be love, not seek it, and leave every space you enter and every person that you encounter better than you found them. So if you go to endeavor to, if my heart is to endeavor to leave this man better than I found him, then I'm going to be mindful of how I speak to him, how I engage him, how I make him feel. And we may not always hit the mark, but if with that intention, then you can get through anything, because that walking in love, being love, endeavoring to be love, not to just seek and what can I get and I'm in love and all of these things, but it's really endeavoring to leave people better than you find them. Leave every space you enter better than you found it. So you're mindful of the attitude you carry into a space, the energy with which you come into a space. And so to me, that answers it all. If you're walking in that and you're being that, even if there's something that is a point of contention or something that you may not agree on, if the goal still, if I know that in my life, not just in this union, but in my life, I endeavor to leave people better than I find them, then my goal is not going to be to come in and win a disagreement or to or try to be right. It's going to be to, how can I get this point across and still leave him feeling better than I found him? Right. And so to me, that would be the most important piece of advice that I could give.
Excellent. And one more, what these workshops, where can the women go to engage with these workshops?
You can, well, let's see what's coming up. You can, usually they're posted on either one of my websites, which is iamsole.com, iamsole.com, and then they're posted on Davy Tribe Wellness if I'm hosting the workshop, if I'm the one that's putting it on. Other people book me sometimes and then I don't use, they may not be on the site, but that's DEV as in Victor, I Tribe Wellness, Davy Tribe Wellness .com. And so I have, what's coming up? I have a full day workshop in Atlanta coming up next Saturday. There's like 2 slots available because a friend that was coming isn't able to come now, is holding space for her. So I had 2 spaces open up for that because one's taken. And I'll be in Philly on July 27th.
Brooklyn.
I'll be in Brooklyn, July 20th. And there's some more things coming up that are escaping me right now, but those are the things that are coming up, but they're usually posted on either of those. And on my Instagram, I'm always sharing where I'll be. And that's Sole, MRSSOLE on Instagram.
Okay, excellent. And Professor Griff, just the last 2 questions, but I wanted to say, Maisha Cartwright Hooper says she heard the story how you got together. Thank you for your Sole. She loves your music. Camilla X Jones, wonderful advice. Elias Rise says, yes, if both people are in the giving business, then no one has to be deprived of receiving it. Okay, 1 second. And here we go. Professor Griff, what advice would you give to future husbands?
to future husbands?
Yes, sir.
I think the best advice that I could possibly give to a future husband, I think is very practical and very simplistic. Should not your actions show that you actually want to be in a marriage?
Yes, sir.
You can't, if you're doing the same thing, bro, at 40 that you was doing at 20, you hustling backwards, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You just don't need to be in no marriage, man. There ain't nothing wrong with being friends. Give each other some dap. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, you really don't know. The idea of brothers, we have to grow, and I don't mean this, and please don't take this in a disrespectful way. We got to grow up emotionally. You understand what I'm saying? And there's a lot of things that I think, starting with the one or two things that we really kind of need to check at the door. Ego being one of them.
Professor, how can we, I don't want to stop you, but I just want to stay right there. How can we check the ego at the door?
You know,
And women too.
yeah. I think knowing, understanding a basic principle, and I think we've learned that principle in our spiritual practices. There's no one greater than Allah. In my wife's practices, she has several different practices, but how would y'all say that in the path that you're on?
As far as
No one being greater than the creator, whatever, you know. So we say Allah is the greatest.
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying? And being in sync, it's in sync with that. That's where we take our spiritual instruction from.
Yes,
I
sir.
think it would be Tatwamasi, which means I am that. So understanding that I am that as well. So I am to behave as that.
Right. So with that said, we have to conduct ourselves. And even and prior to getting married, that we have to prepare ourselves, because you're talking about a level of discipline. We had a few conversations with people that we know, and I hope they're not listening, that only knew me from the outside looking in and didn't really know me. And a couple of things were said, and I got extremely heated. And I said, you can look on or offline. I just don't treat people that way. That's just not who I am. You're not gonna dig up nothing, because there ain't nothing to dig up. I just haven't lived that life. Now there's a couple of bodies buried in a couple of places. I want to play. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna find anything, because there's nothing really to find. So I don't have to try to become the model husband and fit into the mold of what a model husband should be. You understand what I'm saying? We've all been through relationships. We've all extracted those experiences, both good and bad. We know, but more basic and more practical than that, we know how we want to be treated. Then in a practical sense, treat people the way you want to be treated. You understand what I'm saying? I don't look at just women in general as beneath me or lesser than myself. So then why would I do that in my relationship? So these are some of the things that men should kind of ponder and think about. And of course, I took some instruction from my elders who are married. And I did have the straight up, in your face conversation. Is anything you want to tell me? Let's talk. Let's get it out of the way now. You understand what I'm saying? We did have those conversations, and we've learned to work through situations. We learned to jump over hurdles. We learned to tolerate certain things and give things a chance. But first, we have to do that with one another. We have to give ourselves a chance. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And I think if you could survive the first few years, I'd say 3, you good. You understand what I'm saying? I do think that there was certain people waiting up, that ain't gonna last. Because he's just so opposite of her and yada, 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 whoop, whoop. But they forget we both martial artists.
Yes,
We both MCs. We're both parents. We've both been married before. So there's a lot of experience that we're bringing to the table to share with one another. There's something very unique that we used to do, and I'm in this point, on this point. We did this thing which was sacred to us. It was the morning dance. Wherever we were, whatever that song was, whatever that dance we wanted to do, whether we was together or apart in different cities, we did that. Not every morning, but you know, when we felt it, when we felt the spirit to do that.
Yes, sir.
And I think 100 and maybe 30 songs later, everything from the Commodores to Gladys Knight to the Temptations to Run DMC to Public Enemy to don't mention that. I hear you thinking, don't even say that. Okay, mint condition, yeah, but the other people. I'm so tired. Oh yeah, so everything in between, whatever that dance was, whatever we martial arts dancing, or whether we wrestling, or whether we hitting the bag, or just dancing in our underwear, we good.
Okay, and thank you all.
Okay.
Y'all have, I've learned a lot, and I'm sure everyone who, I thank y'all for your comments has learned a lot as well. The last two questions, I'll start with you, Sister Soleil. How would someone who's watching learn or know you all are very spiritual, that the person that they may be interested in is their soulmate or, you know, their spiritual partner? What is a sign that somebody can know, like, okay, this is not just physical or this is not just financial?
Hold on, I have to get the charger for this computer, but you can answer that. I'm listening.
Okay.
Wow. You know, I don't ever like to answer questions like that with absolutes, because what may be a sign, you know, the universe speaks to all of us in different ways. It's always in frequency and vibration. But the way that we receive it, the way that we pick up that vibration may be very differently for different people. So I don't want to say there's one way and know this, except for the fact that you will know. We always know when we are in tune with ourselves, when we're in tune with the Creator, when we are dropped into our essence and out of our ego, we always know what to do. We sometimes block that voice out. That going out. We often do that, but we know, we always know when, and it's never going to be based solely on physical attributes. It's never going to be based solely on sexual energy and connectivity and all those things. Though all of these things are important, but that's not going to be the thing that makes you know. It will be a knowing deep on the inside, or a knowing to run that we sometimes like to avoid. That we like to, because sometimes we want what we want even when we know it's not good for us. So we block out all of the signs and signals, and really it's that inner prompting that we know that we don't listen to sometimes. So
excellent. Thank you, sister. Thank you all for watching and commenting as well. And you can watch this on Off the Record on YouTube. Subscribe, like it, and if you have a business that you would like to sponsor, inbox me or DM me, and I'll let you know how to do so. Brother Professor Griff, how would you recommend telling one of us if the person we're speaking with is our spiritual soulmate or our spiritual partner, if you will?
Yeah, I think that's very natural. I tend to say to people that the ancestors speak to us from within us. And that voice that speaks from within speaks the language on a level that spirit, that energy, know that you understand. It's not foreign. It only becomes foreign when you begin to ignore it and do the opposite. Then that energy and that spirit has to send you through the trials and tribulations and bring you on right back to your center. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
you know whether or not you in sync with someone. And I'm not talking about that cutesy little stuff that you see on some of these shows and websites. Oh, we end each other's sentence together and all that old cute stuff. But you know when you're in sync with someone. You understand what I'm saying? And to ignore that, all right, and get married anyway, to ignore that and have children anyway, know what we're birthing into this world. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get you a hat, bro. I don't know what that logo is, but I'm gonna get you a hat.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, so I think more so tapping into and understanding, not only was it your spiritual script or your spiritual, it's just on my mind today. The language, your spiritual language. You understand what I'm saying? And most times it's uniquely yours. No one else can read your spiritual language. You can get in sync with it. So the same thing that speaks to me in the language that I understand may not speak to her. But when you're in sync, we know. You understand what I'm saying? So we tend to know when one another's thinking about one another. We tend to know when one another's hungry or need help or whatever. You become that much in sync with the individual because you're in sync with yourself and your own spirit. Now, some of us have a hardy spirit. Some of us have a very deceiving kind of energy and spirit. Because back in the day, we vibrated on a high level where we can read people's auric field. We know when people are cool and when they're not. Yes, but it's the spiritual language we need to learn. You understand what I'm saying? How many emotions do you think we express on a daily basis? More than 5?
Maybe. Okay.
Well, what if I said there was at least 60 different ways to express yourself, different sets of emotions? We don't tap into any of them. It's the basic ones. That person got on my nerves. You wake up in the morning, I love you too. We get past that. Then it's other emotions, the basic ones. But what about all the other emotions that we can kind of share? When she introduced me the whole idea of putting a men's healing circle together, that's a whole different range of emotion.
Yes, sir.
And open, being vulnerable, seeing one another cry, just supporting one another. That's a whole range of emotions that we don't experience as men. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, but anyway.
Okay, excellent. And thank you for your comments. Alfred, I can't on the next one, same thing, Brother Mikhail, on the next one. Thank you to Latrice, and she said they love the way you glow together. This is powerful. Thank you all for watching. I want to thank you, Professor Griff, for taking time out of your busy schedule. And I want to thank you, Sister Soleil, for taking time out of your busy schedule. It was an honor to drill at you all's wedding. I look forward to seeing your love continue to grow and prosper. And thank you for inspiring us today.
Oh, give thanks. Really appreciate you, good brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you all. You all have a great evening.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.